Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari for the students of Standard 10 in which we are learning the subject of social science. Students, we have already completed chapter number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, understanding and explanation of 5 chapters of history, the current textbook of Standard 10. From today onwards, we are going to start with chapter number 6. So, chapter number 6, Places of Indian Cultural Heritage, that is the name of the chapter. Now, specifically, the famous places that are associated with the cultural heritage of India. We know cultural heritage includes lots and lots of things. For example, ideas, innovations made, that also gets included in cultural heritage. The way we live, the customs, traditions that we have, that is also cultural heritage. So, people from far and wide, people from foreign countries also, they come to India. Now, when they come to India, they will want to visit various places having historical importance. Lots of monuments that are made. They come to see that. So, those places which bear a lots of importance as far as cultural heritage of India is exclusively depicted in those places. They might be religious places, they might be tombs, they might be caves, they might simply be a structure, but beautifully, artistically made in such a way that people just keep looking at it, at the marvelous structure that is standing in front of it. It is because those monuments, those places, they were built when we did not have the modern science and technology to help make the structure. Today, we can just supply a demand to the computer and we place a block of wood in front of that machine, and according to the picture that we have provided, without doing anything, the machine will carve out a beautiful design out of that block of wood that we have given it. So those things were made by people hundreds of years ago without literally having any science and technology to help them, any of the machines to help them. And such beauties were carved out of stone, carved out in the caves, paintings made. So we should know about these places having lots and lots of cultural heritage which depicts the true Indian culture in a very artful manner. So we are going to start with this chapter. The cultural heritage of India is very rich and prosperous, as we know. People, time and again, constantly through all these decades, through all these centuries, through all these hundreds of centuries, the people continuously kept on enriching the culture of India. More and more people came from outside. They also mingled very well and they brought with them their own ideas, customs, culture, and it got mixed with India, and we have amalgamated to complex societies where individual identity is completely lost, and this has made a cultural heritage of India very rich and prosperous. Not only Indians, suppose we are living in this area of this region of India, but when we have vacations, etc., we travel to many parts of India to visit them. So, being Indian, we visit lots of places in India having lots of historical importance or cultural importance. So, Indians as well as foreign visitors are attracted to these places of cultural and natural heritage of India. Because, say, people coming from America, American history is hardly 300 years, right? They do not have any sculpture which is, say, made before 1000 years, made before 2000 years, or even made before 500, 800 years. So they come to see the marvel of India, what we can call truly the cultural and the natural heritage of India as well. Yes, lots of beautiful sights, lot of beautiful hill stations. Even the desert is quite romantic, right? The sands are quite romantic, right? They haven't even seen a desert, right? So they come over here and enjoy the desert, the people living in that desert, the art which grew up through all these centuries. So everything becomes a source of attraction to the visitors coming from not only different parts of India but also from outside India. So we will learn them one by one. First, we will be learning about the caves of India. If we are talking about the caves of India, then two caves, Ajanta and Ellora, cannot be ignored because they are so beautifully made. So, caves of Ajanta and Ellora. First, we will be learning about the caves of Ajanta. Ajanta caves are situated near Ajanta village in Aurangabad district, which falls in the state of Maharashtra. So, three things you have to remember. Ajanta caves, it's near Ajanta village. Ajanta village comes in Aurangabad district. Aurangabad district comes in Maharashtra state. These caves are magnificent examples of initial Buddhist art of Vastu, art of paintings and sculpture. In these caves, you'll find the old mystic art of Buddhism, the Buddhist art of Vastu, also the art of painting and sculpture. Beautiful sculptures you will find crafted over there. Beautiful paintings done on the walls of these caves, and that has made these Ajanta caves quite famous. Ajanta is among the finest example of some of the earliest Buddhist architecture. Yes, Buddhism when it was spreading, Buddhism when it was spreading, to preach and teach it, marvelous temples were made, lots of caves were used. So these caves were used where the monks, because they had a routine going around from place to place all around, preaching, teaching and spreading Buddhism. So that gave rise to the Buddhist architecture, that gave rise to Buddhist sculpture, because the preaching and teachings were shown on stone, engraved, carved out. So this gave rise to the ancient mystic Buddhist architecture. Cave painting were beautiful paintings about the teachings of Buddha, about the teachings of different monks that preached the religion. All of it are shown, bodhisattvas, all of them beautifully painted and engraved on stone, sculptured on stone. These caves have two types of sculpture. One is a Chaitya hall or shrine, and another one that is dedicated to Lord Buddha, and the another one is the Vihara. Now there is a difference between Chaitya and Vihara. Chaitya will have a big hall that becomes the temple because Lord Buddha's statue is over there. Yes, atop a high altar, and the walls, they have pillars where teachings and the good things told about Buddha, they are engraved or inscribed on stone over there. Lots of painting can be done on the walls. Lots of stone sculpturing can be taught, which depicts the life of Buddha or the teachings of Buddha and the people listening to them, the bodhisattvas, they attaining the moksha, Lord Buddha attaining moksha. So all these beautiful sculpturing is done on the side walls of the Chaitya hall. That Chaitya is basically used as a shrine for worshipping. It's dedicated to Lord Buddha. Now let us take a view. Perhaps you can see the picture, right? This is Chaitya. We can see above a high altar we have the statue of Buddha and pillars. Lots of engraving and lots of sculpting work is done on the pillars. Same way on the walls high above the pillars we have, it looks like a gallery, but then that's a gallery of sculpting work that is done. Yes, and whole of the hall can be used as a worshipping space. Next comes viharas. Viharas, they are called viharas or monasteries because the monks who routinely go from one place to another, they need a place after preaching in a certain area. They need to stay for a few days over there. So they are literally moving from one place to another and they need a place to live, and at the same time for their daily routines of worshipping, preaching, teaching and spreading the message of Buddha, they need a place that serves both as a residence also and as a place for their work and meditation also. So that is called a vihara. Viharas or monastery used by the Buddhist monks for meditation purpose also and for study of the Buddhist teachings. Yes, lots of upcoming monks who have just entered into the cult and now they're learning the teachings and preachings of Buddha and they are following other senior monks along with them. Whole of a team is so that place Vihara was used by the Buddhist monks for meditation and the study of Buddhist teachings. Now there are lot many caves in Ajanta. Out of that, cave number, please remember because you got to write in the answer, right? This is quite a big answer and 3 or 4 marks. So cave number 9, 10, 19, 26 and 29. They are specifically Chaitya caves. Whereas the remaining caves are the viharas. So 9, 10, 19, 26 and 29, they are Chaityas and the remaining caves are viharas based on the work that is done on this in these caves. Whether they are Chaityas or viharas, they can again be divided. First, all the group of caves, they are divided into two. One belongs to Chaityas, rest of them belongs to the viharas. Now, the work done in that caves, in those caves. So, now we divide the caves according to the work that is being done over there. Caves based on paintings, and second division is caves that are based on sculpture work. Now, cave number 1, 2, 10, 16 and 17 have excellent wall paintings depicting Buddhist religion. All the things, preachings, teachings, Lord Buddha's in Bodh Gaya, the Bodhi tree where Lord Buddha got the salvation. All these pictures are described on the wall, depicted on the wall. So, all about Buddhist religion is shown in the form of painting on wall and cave number 1, 2, 10, 16 and 17. These caves have attained the highest rank in wall painting in comparison because in caves usually what happens is they are quite safe, but the walls, because they are made up of rocks and because they are quite high up in the hills, mountains, etc., probability of rainwater entering inside and dampening the painting and there's damaging the painting, there is also a possibility. If the cave gets closed, then dampness seeps in quite deeply, and that. But excellent example of wall painting can be seen in cave number 1, 2, 10, 16 and 17. With time, people forgot. Yes, maybe those caves got buried in the jungle, or maybe the mouth of the cave got buried with stones, whatever. But people had forgotten the Ajanta caves. So they were rediscovered by a British officer named John Smith way back in 1819 AD. He rediscovered these caves, and that is how we again came to know about these caves. Now, when people go to visit the caves, right, we know they keep on touching, what a beautiful painting. So, 1,000 people touch it, it becomes dirty. So, this way, human interference in time, because it has been quite a long time since the paintings have been done, so they do get dim, and plus human interference, they have quite damaged it. Ajanta caves are world famous for their extremely rich blending of art, painting, all of the sculpture and architecture. Because these caves, they had to be cut. Yes, caves को बड़ा किया जाता है क्योंकि caves छोटी है तो बड़ा किया जाता है. Somewhere rocks are not there, so some supplement to support are given, right? So they are extremely rich in art, painting, sculpture, and architecture. Next, we have some definitions of chaityas, stupas, and viharas. They all belong to the Buddhist religion. So, chaityas, what are chaityas? The temple halls, or you can say shrine. Shrine means a worshipping place of Buddhist monks. They are called chaityas. Now, what is a stupa? Stupa is a heap-like, semi-spherical in shape. We have seen the Sanchi stupa, right? It's semi-spherical in shape on the top. So, a stupa is a heap-like, hemispherical structure containing relics. We understood in the previous chapter, chapter number 3, that what are these relics? Relics, they are the actual remains of the body of either Buddha or a very important monk in the hierarchy after Buddha, right? So, relics of Buddhist monks or nuns. Uh, Relics can be the remains, that is hair, bone, nail, tooth, all these are preserved in a box and kept in the shrine. Yes, they belong originally to Buddha or some very important Buddhist monk or nun in the hierarchy of the disciples of Buddha. Stupa is used as a place for meditation also. Stupas are built in the most interior ends of the caves. Stupa, they are quite secluded, right? In the cave, starting paintings and all the life of Buddha or the Buddhist religion is shown over there. But the stupa you will find as a small structure at the end, most interior part of the cave. Now, what are viharas? Viharas are monasteries, as we just discussed, used by Buddhist monks for meditation purpose, for learning the teaching of Buddha or studying the Buddhist teachings, all of that. That is called vihara. The Buddhist monks get to live over there. They can continue with their studies also, plus a small section will be there for meditation. Yes, Buddhist monks reside inside the viharas. In chaityas you cannot reside, but monasteries or the viharas are especially made so that the monks can live over there. Study hall bhi hota hai, meditation or worshipping space bhi hota hai. So that is vihara. Now we come to the next famous caves, that is Ellora caves. Up till now we had been learning about the Ajanta caves. Now Ellora caves. Ellora, one speciality or one thing that makes Ellora caves different from the rest is Ellora is one of the largest rock cut monastery temple. Again, it is Buddhist, but it is the largest rock cut. Now, what do we understand by rock cut? There will be a huge boulder, huge boulder, say the size of 2 or 3 stories of our school, that much high and that much wide also. Now, out of that, a single mandir will be, or a temple or a monastery, or the shape will be carved out from the outside. There is no entry point inside, but it will be outside. From the outside it will be carved out and it looks like a temple. So Ellora is one of the largest rock cut. That means it has to be a single rock. Monastery temple, cave complexes in the world. Now cave complexes, what is cave complexes? There are a lot many caves. Entry can be one, and then you can go from one cave to another, or after the set of caves end, you again have to come out and then you have to go into another set of caves. So it is one of the largest rock cut monastery temple complex in the whole of the world. It is situated in Aurangabad district of Maharashtra, again the same district. This is how it looks from the outside. You can see different entry points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they are interconnected also. You can see the height. Yes, this is where you get the entry point. This is the height of the cave. Again, this is the entry point, but then height is quite. And whole of this is a single rock. Suppose you can see over here, whole of this is a single rock. So it becomes easy for making lots of structures inside with single rock formation. Here is another picture of uh, Ellora caves. You can see a whole of the mandir is carved out over here. We'll learn about that later also. Yes, you can see this whole one rock. On the sides also one rock. Out of that, this part was carved out and then whole of the temple was made. There is no entry point to go inside, but it looks a very beautiful temple is carved out of a single rock. There are 34 caves in Ellora. How many? 34 caves in Ellora, constructed between quite a long period, 400, that is 4 centuries. It took 4 centuries. Thus, that tells about the patience of Indian people, that for continuously 4 centuries people kept on carving and making more and more caves and lots of structure within. So, right from 600 AD to 1000 AD. It took that much long time to carve out these 34 caves. These caves are divided in 3 groups of the cave temples, different from each other based on what the 3 groups are. Now, number 1 to 12, they are specifically Buddhist caves. Cave number 13 to 29, they are Hindu caves. And cave number 30 to 34 are Jain caves. Right? Caves made for the Jainism or Jain religion. Yes? What better example can we have of unity in diversity? All the 3 religions are different, but through the century, different religions, they made use of that single hill to carve out, and they specifically designed their own religion in that particular caves. So cave number 1 to 12 specifically Buddhist caves, cave number 13 to 29 they are Hindu caves, and caves number 30 to 34, 5 caves, they are Jain caves. The Hindu caves of Ellora were built during the Rashtrakuta dynasty, the reign of, that means when the Rashtrakuta dynasty was ruling, which you learned in the earlier standards, I think 6th or 7th, right? So those were the people who made the caves 13 to 29, the Hindu caves made during the Rashtrakuta dynasty. The caves, all of them, whether they are Buddhist caves, whether they are Jain caves, or whether they are the Hindu caves, all of them portray, that means show, rich ancient Indian civilization. Ellora campus is not only example of magnificent creation of art, but also technology. How? The creation also tells us how patient Indians were in creating such massive and complex structures. So, all this is a very fine amalgamation of all different types of arts, all different types of science, and all different types of technology. Yes, because such huge structures were made inside, without mathematics and science, it's just not possible. Without designing it and then actually putting it on the rock, carving out bit by bit, taking quite a long number of years to make them. It requires lots of patience, it requires lots of knowledge, it requires lots of excellence in the field of, say, sculpting or designing or architecture, or lots of use of maths and science, because everywhere things have to be according to the mathematical construction, right? So specifications, designs, measurement, all of that. So it's not only a fine example of art, it's a fine example of mixture of all the arts. Famous Kailash temple is situated in cave number 16 of the Ellora cave. Yes, so the famous Kailash temple. Kailash temple of Ellora is quite famous, and it is made in cave number 16 of the Ellora caves. Now let us learn about the Kailash temple. Famous Kailash temple is situated in cave number 16 of the Ellora cave. The temple, yes, the temple is single rock cut temple. What is the length of the temple? Temple is 50 meter long, 33-meter wide and 30-meter high. You are just 1.2 meter, right? So this is 30-meter high, approximately 24 or 25 times your height, right? So this temple is carved out of a single rock. Whole of the temple is carved out of the single rock. Cutting is done on the outside, sculpting is done on the outside. Does not have any entry point, you cannot go inside. And so this temple is carved out of a single massive rock. It is adorned with beautiful doors, balconies, and series of pillars. Beautiful doors are carved out of stone, beautiful balconies are there, and series of pillars as if supporting the structure, but actually they are part of the rock. The beauty of the temple is indescribable in words. So that is a full stop over there. It's such a beauty that you just cannot describe it in the words. So let's have a look at the picture of the Kailash temple, famous Kailash temple. As you can see, this is the Kailash temple that is carved out of the single. You can see that rock over here. Yes, it has this. This was a complete rock like this. Now it has been carved out. You can see the rock behind that. That is also single. This is the actual height of the from here to here, right? That is 30 high. From here to here, it is width is 33 and length is 50 meter. We can see. Okay, you can see steps over here leading inside. You can come out of the balcony like this, right? So, and this is a separate pillar over here made. Independent, lone standing pillar. Same way, lots of pillars are made over here. Beautiful sculpturing can be done everywhere. Wherever space is there, beautiful sculpturing is done over here. Another picture, right, which gives you a different viewpoint. Yes, the single standing pillar. You can see lots of balconies made over here. Beautiful sculpturing done everywhere, right? So before doing the sculpturing work, at least the image in the mind of the creator should be clear. He should be having lots of knowledge of arithmetic, mathematics, geometry. Yes, and he should be quite an expert in making these things. And there should be lots of people doing it, because for 4 centuries these work were continuous. Now we come to another important caves, that is Elephanta caves, or they are called caves of Garapuri also. Elephanta caves. Elephanta caves of the Bombay coast, the coast of the coastal area near the city of Mumbai. Elephanta caves are situated on a small island near Garapuri village in the Arabian Sea, which is just only 12 kilometers from Mumbai. So you got to take a boat over there, and lots of tourist boats keep on plying, taking people from the port of Mumbai to Garapuri or Elephanta caves. From Mumbai in Maharashtra, and whole of the island consists of 7 caves. The Portuguese people, they named this island Elephanta Island because in honor of the huge rock-cut statue, stone statue of an elephant that once existed over there. A huge elephant statue was present over there. Now remains are there, but in those days when the Portuguese came way back in 1700, at that time that whole of the single rock cut piece of huge elephant was present over there. Because of that rock cut statue of elephant, the Portuguese gave that the name of Elephanta Island, or Elephanta later on became known as Elephanta Caves. Otherwise, local people call it Garapuri. This is how caves came to be known as Elephanta Caves. There's a very fine picture of the entrance of the caves. Yes, you can see beautiful sculpting work. Even the ark is quite beautiful. The steps we can see carved out of stone. The different entry of caves is also made over here, and you can see this is a single rock, right? This is again a single rock. This is the inside, a famous Trimurti. You can see inside the Elephanta Caves. Elephanta Cave is also famous for this beautiful Trimurti face, the sculpting work that is done over here. You can see huge pillars, single guide. Whole of this is single. Right out of this, these structures are carved out. Rest of the stone removed. You can see the beautiful flooring is also still the old stone. Yes, that was once part of the same whole structure. The caves contain many beautifully carved things. Among them, the magnificent Trimurti temple in cave number 1 is a very fine example of sculpting work and uh, claims to be one of the very best specimen of Trimurti carved out over here. In 1987, UNESCO declared Elephanta Caves as part of the World Heritage. So it's a matter of pride for us that one of our structures is part of the world structure, that the world wants to keep it as a heritage. Not only India, but the world wants it to be preserved as world heritage. Garapuri means city of caves, so locals call Elephanta Caves as Garapuri also. Next, we have temples of South India, town and temples of Mahabalipuram. Temples of South India, very, very famous. The type of structures that are done in the South Indian temples, they are just magnificent, right? We have different structures as far as northern or western Indian temples are made, the way they are made, and the way temples are made in South India, which makes them unique. Each mandir or each temple in South India is unique in itself in its construction, the way the construction work is done, right? So one of that town of Mahabalipuram that we are going to learn. It's quite a long answer and carries marks. Temples of Mahabalipuram. Mahabalipuram is a small city located only 60 kilometers away from Chennai, that is Tamil Nadu. Mahabalipuram lies on the coast and faces the Bay of Bengal, because Tamil Nadu it's on the Bay of Bengal mostly. So uh, it faces the Mahabalipuram place. Opposite to it is the Bay of Bengal. That means it's a town lying on the seashore of Bay of Bengal. This city is famous for its splendid temple architecture and seashore. One of the 3-4 names that are always on the lips of the foreign tourists that they come to India, because they have done quite a lot of homework before they come to India. They specifically know where they have to go because they have short limited time. So they prepare well, they do their homework, we don't, but they do their homework and they come to India. 3-4 names they have on their lips. First one is going to be Taj Mahal. Second is going to be the Khajuraho temple, Ajanta Ellora temples, and the fourth one, if they go to South India, Mahabalipuram is going to be on their list. Yes, so that much famous or that much popularity the Mahabalipuram place has as far as tourists are concerned. This city is famous for its splendid architecture and beautiful seashore. Narsivarman first, he was the king, Pallava king of the Pallava dynasty, gave this town the name of Mahabalipuram. Narsivarman first, the Pallava king, he gave this short town the name of Mahabalipuram. People gave the king the title of Mahamalla, which means a great wrestler. So people gave the title to the king as Mahamalla, or one who wrestles very well, or who is the king of the wrestlers, the most powerful wrestler. So in turn he named this town as Mahabalipuram. Mahabalipuram, having lots of strength. 7 temples. Most important thing over here is 7 temples were built here. Out of them, 2 temples submerged in the sea. Hence, today only 5 chariot temples exist. We know, we have already seen that Mahabalipuram is on the coast. So the sea is advancing towards the land, and earlier it was quite far away, but now the sea is occupying many parts of the land. So seven temples were built over here, but all of them were on the shore, two temples quite far inside, and the sea engulfed them, took them away. So now two temples they are under the sea. Now only five temples, five chariot temples. One of the uniqueness of the southern architecture is chariot temples. Rath. They are made out of single rock cut. They are made out of single stone, that is they are rock cut. they अंदर कोई entry point नहीं होता, right? अंदर जाके पूजा पाठ करने के लिए idol वगैरह नहीं होता. They are carved from, and beautiful carving is done on the outside. That is the uniqueness of these temples. So today only five chariot temples exist. This is one of the most beautiful temple on the shore. Today also it is right near the shore, right? So it's very near to the shore, and that is why it's known as, उसका नाम भी ऐसा है, shore temple बोलते हैं, shore temple of Mahabalipuram. Very beautiful. This is I think a sunset view of that point. These are the five temples that we are talking about. Yes, now they are named on the Pandavas. Why? Nobody knows, but each of these temples have are named after Pandava. For example, the largest temple is largest chariot temple over here is of Yudhishthir, that is of the Dharmaraj. Then Bhima temple is a little bit smaller than the Dharmaraja chariot temple. Then so Dharmaraja, Bhim, Arjun and Nakul Saudev, they share one single temple, and the last smallest one is the Draupadi chariot temple, right? So these are, you can see they are rock cut. They do have space entry points over here, but that's quite open. The main structure is the outside one. The main sculpting work, you can see beautiful sculpting work is done on the outside. Yes, you can see even the elephants, lion, they are carved out over here. You can see the base of the rock. They are still one single rock over here, all single rock, and the chariot temple is carved out of that. Rath Rath Mandir bolte hain. The temples contain an amazing figure of Lord Vishnu in a smiling pose. Beside, here is also an idol of goddess Durga slaying Mahisasura. So, apart from these temples, we have temples that contain the amazing figure of Lord Vishnu in smiling pose. That's quite rare. And here you will also find one of the temple having idol of goddess Durga slaying the Mahisasura. It is worth noting that Mahabalipuram was also a famous ancient harbor. We know it's just near the sea, so it was quite a good harbor and quite a prosperous town over there at that time. Now we come to the next best thing, Patadakal and its famous temple. Village Patadakal is situated 16 kilometers away from Badaminagar in Karnataka. Patadakal was once the capital of the Chalukya dynasty. So these things you have to remember. Some king belonging to Pallava dynasty, some king belonged to Chalukya dynasty. Chalukyas built several temples over here in the Dravidian style of architecture. Dravidian style, which the people of Dravidians, they follow that particular way of architecture, that's called the Dravidian style of architecture. They were built during the 7th and 8th century, quite later. Virupaksha temple is the biggest temple in Patadakal. Virupaksha temple, this you can see, quite a big, huge mandir, right? Entry point, that is a mandir, quite a long mandir with lots of walls, pillars, and all of them. Not a single inch you can find without any sculpting work done over here. So this is the famous Virupaksha temple of Patadakal. Next we come to the Khajuraho temples. Khajuraho temple, Khajuraho is a small village in the Chhatarpur district of Madhya Pradesh. So Khajuraho temples, they are in Madhya Pradesh in the Chhatarpur district, and they are situated near a small village, that is Khajuraho. It contains world famous Khajuraho temples. We just discussed, yes, the tourists coming to India. First thing is they go to see Taj. Second thing they go to is Khajuraho temples, right? So they are so famous, they are on the just on the tip of the lips, right? Two things, four things, just come and go see and just go away in 1 week. These two things they will never miss. So famous are they all over the world. It contains the world famous Khajuraho temples. Khajuraho was one of the ancient capital city of. Now the ruler changes because the area has changed. Earlier we are talking about South India, this is now Central India, Madhya Pradesh. So Chandela rulers, so they are Chandela Rajputs of the Bundelkhand. Bundelkhand is Jhansi and the adjoining areas, whole of that is called Bundelkhand. Yes, some of the parts are in MP, some of the parts are in UP, but earlier whole of that area was coming under the Bundelkhand, and they were ruled by the Chandela Rajputs. These kings built the Khajuraho temples somewhere in between 905 AD to 105 AD. That means it took around some more than 50 years to make them, 100 years to make them. This is the famous temple of Khajuraho. Today there are 25 temples in Khajuraho. Most of them are Shaiva or Shiva temples. Some of them are also Vaishnav and Jain temples also. It's a mixture of them. In total, some 25 temples are remaining now. Many of them have been ruined, destroyed, but there are still 25 temples that are intact. If I'm talking about 905 AD construction, then this is 2020. That means almost over 1000 years, right? So lots of temples, they get destroyed either by some other kings or even climate and constant exposure in rain, winter, and causes lots of cracks in the stones, and they now many of them will be in some dilapidated conditions, but 25 of them they are still intact. Good one. All these temples have similar type of architecture and sculpture, whether they are Jain temples, whether they are Vaishnav temples, whether they are Hindu, that is Shiva temples, then also sculpting work is nearly the same. Very, very important, the Chaussat Yogini temple. Chaussat 64, right? So 64 in Hindi and Gujarati will be Chaussat. So Chaussat Yogini temple is one of the main and the most attractive temple and one of the earliest temple built by the Chandelas. The Toran. Toran means the arc, the main arc, that is the Toran, is best example of ornamental style of architecture. Now what is ornament? Ornament, decorative. The most decorative piece of architecture for the entrance purpose used, that is this basically. This is the temple, Chaussat Yogini temple, that we are talking about recently. Yes, you can see made on height, and then even more height is given, the base is given, then the temple is made. Here we can see the Garbhagriha and Viman structure, whole of that quite beautiful and made in a very exclusive way. All the temples of Khajuraho were constructed with granite stone. Please mention in your answer these things. Some of the points you should not miss. Yes, you should not miss those points, because mandirs can be made, temples or these constructions or monuments, they can be made from different stones actually that are available over there. If they are rock cut, then you don't have to bring a huge hill from one place to another. Yes, you get the hill right over there and you make it from the same stone. So that whatever color or type of stone that is, yes, you got to mention it. For example, we have seen in Ajanta Ellora, this you can see black stone, but inside they are quite brownish type, right? So the mixture, there will be a mixture of color. As the color keeps on varying from the pillar from top to bottom, you can find 3-4 different shades of the same color. So stones are quite important. Most of the temples of Khajuraho, they are made from granite stone. Khajuraho temple, that means more costly. Khajuraho temples were constructed in Nagar style. Nagar style, yet another style of making the construction of the temple, the design of the construction, design and construction, the way sculpting work is done, all of that belongs to the Nagar style. So we have South Indian style, or the Dravidian style, then we have Nagar style. So there are lots of different styles and different schools teaching and practicing this type of construction work. Art of sculpture and art of Vastu of Khajuraho temple is just magnificent. You cannot just miss the artistic glory of the Khajuraho temple. So beautifully they are sculptured that people from far and wide all over the world, they come to see it. Next we come to the Sun Temple of Konark. Sun Temple of Konark, situated in the Puri district of Orissa. Earlier it was known as Orissa, Orrisa. The name now changes to Odisha, Odisha. So the Sun Temple of Konark. Sun Temple means it is dedicated to Sun God. Now Sun God, we know he rides on a rath. Baki Bhagwan rath ho na ho, Sun God ke paas rath hona chahiye, because he has to go from east to west. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Right? So he needs that rath. Right? So the Sun Temple of Konark is situated in Konark in Puri district of Odisha. It lies near the Bay of Bengal. This temple was constructed, please underline, 13th century. By whom? Either during the reign of the King Narsivarman I of the Pallava dynasty. Again we see the mention of King Narsivarman I of the Pallava dynasty. He was maker of something else also. Here also he is maker. For example, Narsivarman I. Where did we hear the name? Just a few paragraphs behind. So he was the one who got constructed Sun Temple of Konark. So this is a beautiful picture giving you a glimpse of what the Sun Temple of Konark looks like. Yes, if you can see this pole is quite bigger than our height, right? Taller than our height. So you can imagine the total height of the beautiful wheels are made all over, right? And we can count also the spokes. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 spokes will be there, right? We can see them, and it's quite huge, it's quite tall. This is the inside. This is just to show you how much you can see from here to here. Wherever you see, not a single inch is left without sculpting work. So it takes quite a long time, because in those days people used to work by hand, have to put stone on stone, fix them, and then do the sculpting work. So it's quite a good, not a single inch left without sculpting. Now the Sun Temple is in the shape of gigantic chariot, that is a rath. The temple is dedicated to the Sun God. Structure of chariot temple has 12 pairs of carved stone wheels. ऐसे व्हील कितने हैं? 12. यहाँ 3 दिखते हैं, राइट? उसके पीछे 3, यस, और आगे भी स्ट्रक्चर चला जा रहा है. So it has a total of 12 wheels, 6 on each side. Yes, बराबर होना चाहिए. 6 on each side. And the structure of the chariot temple has 12 wheels, 12 pairs of carved stone wheels, and is pulled by a set of 7 horses. Whole of the chariot temple is pulled by a set of 7 horses having 12 pairs of carved stone wheels. It has 12 massive wheels which provide beauty to the pedestal of the temple. Now what is pedestal? Pedestal is that high altar that we make. Yes, we first make a height of the temple and then we construct a temple over there, right? So what it means to say is, this is the pedestal, this is the base. After that the temple is made. Whereas other places what happens? You make a temple over here. No, first you make a high pedestal and then you make a temple over here. So you can see it literally from quite a lot of distance. Now more important is the last point. What is it? These wheels reflect 12 months. There are 12 wheels, so each wheel means 1 month, whole of the year complete, and each wheel, 12 wheels, one wheel, 1 month. Now, one wheel has 8 spokes. 8 spokes, 8 spokes. Now, 8 spokes which shows 8 prahar of the day. In earlier days, in the ancient time, people used to count the time as एक दिन का 8 प्रहर. एक दिन means 24 hours. Yes, so 8 prahar. So 1 prahar is for 3 hours. 1 prahar is for 3 hours. So 8 threes are 24 hours. So 12 months, 12 wheels. Each wheel has 24 hours. That means 8 prahar. So each prahar, each spoke of wheel represents 1 prahar. So 8 spokes per wheel. That means 24 hours per day, and whole of the month, and 12 wheels whole of the year complete. The temple has been built using black stones. So I said it's very important to remember which temple is made out of which stone. Here the temple is made out of black stone, so it is also called Black Pagoda. The remains of these temples reflect the sculpture and civilization of the 13th century of the state called Orissa. So students, we stop over here for the day, and thank you.